Hello everyone, I'm Delane Cleveland. Here is a few of the stories making news today.
Hospitals across the country, including North Memorial and Robbinsdale, are seeing a striking decline in emergency room visits because patients are scared of COVID-19. But doctors here say that's a misconception, as hospitals are very safe.
Looking at our real experience with COVID and with the other 80% of people we take care of who are not there for COVID or anything like it, we've found that it is exceedingly unlikely to inadvertently transmit that virus, either to our employees, which is key to keep our workforce safe, or to patients. So the so-called healthcare associated transmission of this virus is very, very, very uncommon.
In the beginning of March, Dr. Berg said emergency visits at North Memorial were down 50% compared to last year. He said currently it's down 25% from normal. Berg says this is a concern because a lot of these declining visits are from people that need true emergency care.
We saw a 40+% reduction in care for acute heart attacks, and we saw a 40+% reduction in care for acute strokes. And when we see that in the emergency department, we know that it's only a matter of days or weeks before that becomes a much bigger problem.
Berg says if you suspect you might be having an emergency, don't fear coming to the hospital. Reporting in Robbinsdale, Pafu Yang, CCX News.
I'm Eric Nelson for CCX News out here in Plymouth, and today we're going to put a bounce in your step. That's right, we're at the Urban Air Adventure Park, where they've got trampolines, zip lines, and go-karts. And Tanya Kaiser joins us now, and you had the big reopening on Saturday. How did that go?
You know, it was a little bit slow, but we just want everyone to know that we are open. We have about 25% capacity, and we got some new cleaning procedures in place, and we want everyone to come out and have some fun again with us.
Yeah, you basically want to make this a germ-free zone. How are you doing that?
Well, it starts as soon as everyone walks in the door. Whether it's staff or guests, we take your temperature. So we have our thermal imaging cameras as soon as you walk in the door, so we can make sure that everyone is temping correctly. And then we have hand sanitizer stations throughout. We always recommend washing your hands, of course. We have social distancing naturally in all of our attractions, so you're going to be spaced 6 feet apart. We want to have ample room for you guys to be able to do your activities. Along with that, we have 6 feet stickers placed throughout the park so that the kids can remember, hey, I need to stay this many feet apart. Periodically, you will hear the Cha-Cha Slide song come on across our station, and that is the signal for our staff to stop what they're doing, get everything wiped down and your area clean and ready to go.
All right, the COVID-19 pandemic shut you guys down for a few months. When you opened the doors up on Saturday, was it a stampede?
It wasn't quite a stampede. We definitely had a good group of loyal guests that were ready to come back. We offer memberships, and those people that haven't been able to use their memberships for 3 months, they were ready to go again.
And it's all about fun and games out here. What can the kids do?
Oh my God, they can do everything. So of course we got the state-of-the-art power-up go-karts, which are our #1 attraction, but we also have our zip line, which we call the Skyrider, rock climbing, ropes course, slam dunks, battle beams, trampolines, plus more.
All right, we're glad you're open again, Tanya, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming out.
All right, she's Tanya Kaiser from the Urban Air Adventure Park in Plymouth. I'm Eric Nelson reporting for CCX News.
How well do you know the immediate geographical area where you live?
You know, it actually fell in my lap, this opportunity, I have to admit.
A local publisher was looking for someone to write a certain kind of book.
I talked to tons of locals. I reached out all over the place and got in my car and explored and read a lot.
Lifelong Minnesotan and Plymouth resident Julie Jo Severson was up for the task. Secret Twin Cities is the result.
I really picked the brains of a lot of different locals, from archivists to bartenders to food truck drivers. I just asked everybody.
Part travelogue, part guidebook, Secret Twin Cities introduces you to delightful oddities and fascinating places, all with their own backstory.
My kids always laughed because I always had a big, giant, crinkly, old-fashioned map.
Did you know that the 45th parallel runs right through the Twin Cities, and if you stand on that spot, you'll be exactly halfway between the North Pole and the equator.
It enters the Twin Cities in the western suburbs through Plymouth, goes over Medicine Lake, and there's a marker there, right? As you walk around Medicine Lake, you'll pass by a sign, and then it goes through Golden Valley.
Do you know where there is a life-size wooden carving of a diver wearing an actual diving helmet?
I call it the Corner Lot Diver. It doesn't really have an official name.
He's in Plymouth, but to find out the backstory, read the book. Or what about this place? It's straight out of a movie set.
It's just unbelievable that you don't see it. You can drive by it all day and not know it's there, but it's this 110-foot tower but on top of a hill.
The story behind this imposing and beautiful work is nicely told in the book. When I stepped into this place, my jaw dropped. It was like I was standing in the middle of an 1800s street carnival.
During the process, I just kept reading more and more history. And, this book is filled with artists and entrepreneurs, but not necessarily the well-known ones, but they're just doing what they love.
The book will inspire you and your family to get out and explore. I wanted to get to more spots for this story, but you can't always get what you want, which took me to Excelsior. In the book, Julie Jo explains the connection between this bench, Mr. Jimmy, and the Rolling Stones.
I fell in love with Minnesotans and the history and what got us to where we are today.
While you can't always get what you want, if you try sometimes, like Julie Jo did, you just might find you get what you need. In Excelsior, Neil Persley, CCX News. Thanks, Mr. Jimmy.
An old baseball field in Brooklyn Park will soon get a new look and bring a little bit of a small-town feel to the city. John Jacobson has more.
Small-town ballparks dot the landscape in outstate Minnesota, but you don't find many in the Twin Cities area. That's about to change in Brooklyn Park. The City Council approved a plan this month to go forward with a hometown ballpark plan that's been around for decades.
The hometown ball field was promised to residents back at the 1997 park bond, and unfortunately, as the funding, they worked through the funding process and the construction process, they just ran out of funding to build out the full dream of what the Noble Sports Park baseball field was supposed to become.
The field already exists here at Noble Sports Park. Not much would change with the playing surface itself, but with the money from the 2018 park bond referendum approved by voters, a lot will change around the field starting next summer.
Batting cages, bullpen mounds, grandstand, bathrooms, concession stand, kind of those things to kind of make it a top-notch baseball facility.
The ballpark budget is $1.5 million. And the city will also apply for grants from Hennepin County and the Minnesota Twins as well. There are plenty of potential users for the field.
We have Park Center, Champlain Park, and Maranatha have all been users of this field previously. Obviously, Brooklyn Park Athletic Association and the Babe Ruth organization would have access. There's a couple of adult amateur teams that play in the area that have asked or requested and play here quite a bit.
A construction plan is now being put together, with bids expected to be put out late this year and construction to begin next summer, in time to play in the spring of 2022. For Brooklyn Park baseball players and fans, it's an exciting time.
It is very prominent as you go out in outstate Minnesota. All these great little ballparks are sources of community pride. We hope to have the same thing right here in Brooklyn Park.
While many summer baseball leagues canceled their seasons because of COVID-19, Little Leaguers in one local organization are back on the field.
It's play ball, or at least time for practice for Golden Valley Little League players. The latest COVID-19 guidelines and city officials allowed for practices to begin Friday.
Very exciting because all I've been doing is just playing games with my friends online. I haven't really seen any of my friends in person. So being out here and playing with my friends, it means a lot.
I am super excited because for me, I play 3 sports and I like to be doing sports all the time, and I like baseball because you just get to be with your friends and do the things I love, like playing sports. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to get back to it instead of just sitting around all day.
Of course, social distancing is part of the game plan.
Well, one of the big differences is not going into a dugout. Sanitizing equipment afterwards, seeds and gum and all that stuff are a big part of baseball. None of that. We're going to really space out the kids. If you look at the fence, we're going to use the fence as a dugout. Each kid's going to have a pole to put their stuff on, so that way we keep them apart. And then we're going to try to have a buddy system with the kids. So that's the kid you're going to play catch with. That's the kid that you're going to be hitting with. So we're going to keep pairs and buddies together.
Many Little League programs around the Twin Cities had already canceled seasons, but Golden Valley took a wait-and-see approach to things.
Heard when a bunch of other leagues got canceled, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, oh, I have a bad feeling this is going to get canceled. And then when I heard it wasn't, I was like, I just can't wait for the first date where they schedule a game or practice.
New guidelines issued late last week allow for youth games to be allowed starting midweek. It won't happen overnight in Golden Valley, but is a hopeful sign.
If games happen, they don't happen, I think we're fine with it. We're just excited to be out here. We've talked about potentially playing games after the 4th of July. If that happens, super.
Never have kids been so excited about just having practice.
That's it for sports. I'm Jay Wilcox.